Greetings, and tonight I am going to be taking you through one of the most popular train line building games in the world. I'm going to be taking you through an entire match, telling you about how the game works, how the gameplay works, some of my various strategies, and I'll also take you through some of the modes the game has got as well in regards to multiplayer. This is Ticket to Ride. Greetings and welcome to Let's Play Ticket to Ride Pocket. Now I'm going to be playing this on the iPad, but I'm going to be playing the iPhone version just to confuse you, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm going to be playing the iPhone version in a minute. But this is obviously clearly based on a very, very popular board game called Ticket to Ride that has been around for quite a few years now and has got several expansions and different variations of it. And this is now the online version. There's been versions on PC, versions on Xbox, and of course iPhone and Android and all that kind of stuff. When you first load up the game, it will give you like an introductory video, which is nice to put in, but it does kind of bombard you with rules a little bit, but as long as you can cope with that, that's not a problem. But at the bottom right hand corner you can probably see a little button that says 1 times. That's because, like I said, this is the iPhone version, so naturally it should be about yay big, but they've put in a little magnify button, as indeed most iPhone games do. That means that you can get it to fill your screen, but it does give you a slightly lower resolution. Now the reason why I have the iPhone version rather than the iPad version is all to do with the multiplayer options. Now both versions, iPhone and iPad, both have solo, which is obviously the top one on the left. Both of them have local, or both of them have multi. Both of them have pass and play, but what the iPhone version has is an asynchronous version of multiplayer, which is through Game Center. Now, if you don't know where asynchronous is, basically where I can take my move and then my friend can take his move in an hour's time, and then it gets mailed to the next player who takes his move 2 hours after that, and you can have quite a game that runs a lot longer, perhaps over a few days or even a few weeks, with some long distance friends. Now, of course, that might be your idea of hell. It's effectively kind of like the old email games that people used to do on chess, but it's, for me, I've got some friends that we play games together at the same time, but we also like to do some kind of strategy stuff, long distance, and kind of playing 20 minutes here or there. So it was a nice option, and that's only in the iPhone version. But of course, on the iPad version, you'll have the better graphics and things. And in fact, the iPad version actually got kind of like an app of the, I think it was a gaming app of the year or something like, or board game app of the year conversion in 2012. Now, if we do go into the play option, you can see that there is more than one map. This is actually going to load up the store and various other things like that now. Now you can play Ticket to Ride Europe. You can play the Swedish map. They only cost 69p to buy the extra maps, but each time. But I've just been using the main ones at the moment, and it's really good fun. Me and my wife play it fairly regularly. Not using the asynchronous one. We do the local one, which works nicely through our Wi-Fi, but it also works through Bluetooth. So even if we're out and about and just fancy a quick game, if there's no Wi-Fi around, we can just Bluetooth it to one another, which is great. But for the purposes of this little kind of let's play, showing you all about it, I'm going to go into solo. This is obviously me on the left, the adipose. It's very, very close likeness to real life. We can choose whether we want to have a tutorial or not, but we're not going to because we have played before. And we can choose how many players we want and how many players we want them to be. So all of these we can change to other players and change their various colours and turn them off and on and things like that. And 4's a fairly good number to have up. The AI is a mixed bag. It does do some things very well, but it does have a tendency to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Now, if you've never played Ticket to Ride before, I will give you a kind of a quick overview to the game, but of course, if you do know what it is, then this will all be very familiar to you. Basically, in front of you, you've got a map of North America and all the main train lines, and our goal is going to be to create routes between major cities, and depending on how far apart those cities are, the more points we will get for doing so. But we can't just pick random cities. cities and go, oh, I fancy Seattle to Chicago, you actually are given the routes in advance. And if you look on the right hand side of my screen right now, as I click these, we have got, these are the routes that we have been given. Now we don't have to accept all of these, we don't have to take all 3, but we've got to take at least 2. And so the obvious strategy here would be to kind of say, well, which ones are near each other, which ones are going to allow me to use less track but complete more. And to be honest, I haven't got a great selection here because they're all fairly spread out. However, there are bonus points in this game for having the longest route. So if you can kind of see a route that you can put together by using these particular destinations, then that isn't a bad thing. Now I think I'm going to go for those kind of middle right to there. Now you don't have to connect them directly, it can be absolutely any route, but that you have to have some sort of connection between all of them. This isn't going to be a strategy guide, this video, this is just a kind of a showing you what the game is all about. So we're going to click done, and the game is going to start. And the basic gameplay works like this. On your turn you can either draw cards from the or draw trains from the right hand side, or you can put trains down on the track if you've got enough, or you can draw more of those journey cards that we had at the beginning, you know, the various routes. You can only do one of those 3 things each turn, and you're going to need a certain amount of cards to do each individual route. So if I'm just going to grab this orange card here and move on to an orange route there, which you can see now, of course there's 4 orange blocks there, but I've only got 1 orange card, which means that I cannot get that particular route at the moment. So let's just have a little think about let's just have a little think about what route we're going to take. I reckon our first idea is going to be to try and connect this up to this, to get my kind of stations linked together, and then we could probably come up this right hand side here and then maybe try and come across the top here. The reason why I'm thinking that at the moment, rather than taking all these little ones here, because the little ones are easy to get, but these longer ones are worth more. So that's going to be the initial plan, but we'll see how everything kind of plays out. Now we're going to need some either orange or yellow down here, and there's 2 oranges available over here on the right hand side, which I can pick up straight away. So I am going to grab both of those because I can pick up 2 cards, and then it's the next person's turn. And you can see at the bottom there, all the AI are picking up what they want. I don't yet have enough to grab any of those bits there, and I don't particularly want any of the other cards that are up here. So if I press this at the bottom, this kind of draw card here, you get a random one, like that and like that, which actually did give me the orange I was looking for, and pushed up my black as well. Now I've got enough for that particular connection there, so I can just drop that onto there. And this is all just touch and drag, as you would normally have on an iPad style game. If we release it there, that bit of track is now ours. Now, of course, that's a double bit of track, and because we've got 4 players, someone can, of course, go along the yellow as well, but they can no longer take the orange. That is ours, and no one can take it from us. Now, we're going to need a blue a bit later on, so if I just show you, we are going to need a blue up there. We are going to need orange and black down here, but we've already got the black, so I'm going to grab those 2 blues, and you'll see the computer starting to put down its own bits of track there as well. Now we do have a few little greyed out ones. We could even think about grabbing that pink a bit later on as well, so let's grab those 2 pinks. Now there are special kind of cards in this game called locomotives, and if I just put the mouse over there, that is a locomotive, and no prizes for guessing that one counts as any colour. It can be black, red, green, orange, whatever. You can use it as almost like a wild card. But if I was to pick that one up from the right hand side, that would be the end of my go. If I pick up that one, I can only pick up 1, not 2. But if I pick it up from the random pile, which I'm just going to grab a couple from then it would only count as 1. And that's another advantage of grabbing from the random pile, especially perhaps early on when there isn't quite so much urgency to get particular colours. Now we're not doing too badly at the moment. Everyone's kind of initially putting out their kind of initial gambits and starting to kind of take their shapes. Now red is, you can probably see here that where red has potentially starting to make a route. Can you see if I kind of trace him along? He's kind of got a bit there, and a bit there. Now, it all depends how you want to play Ticket to Ride. You can play it very closed off, very insular, just kind of looking after your own stuff. But you can play it very aggressively, looking for where other people are going and trying to cut them out of the game. Now, both methods work and can be successful, and there's always going to be an element of luck in that. Now I'm just going to put down a bit of track here to make sure I don't lose that bit of track there, because if someone else takes it, there's no secondary route and I will have lost it. So that is now mine. And it is a difficult balance to make, because obviously if I take a turn to block them off, so for example I've got 3 blues and I could drop them there. Now if I drop my blues there, that's definitely going to stop him from connecting those up to get the longest route. But if I do that, that means I can't use those 3 blues on my route. That means I can't use those 3 blues that turn to pick up other cards. You know, you're always kind of trading off. Now I am, even though I've got a choice here really, I could pick up that pink on the right hand side. Okay, that could be my turn, which I do need if I'm going to take this big long pink one here if I want it. But on the other hand, because the red player is there, he might be about to take this blue here. So this turn I am going to make the strategic choice to take this first to stop someone else from taking it. He may not have been going for that one. We will never know. Well, we might find out at the end of the game, but we certainly won't know during the gameplay. But it's a bit of a risk. Now we'll take a. Now we can still take the pink because it's available, and in fact we've got another pink there as well. So I will take that. So we'll now have enough to take that big long pink one now, and at the top, which we can grab now. Now the points for this are. I don't know what we would call it. It's kind of like, it's not inversely proportional. I'm trying to remember what my GCSE maths is, but like, say I was to grab 3 2 space ones. So for example, if I was to grab 3 of them, see that's 2 spaces. 3 of them, that's not worth as much as this 6 one here. The bigger the track that you take, the more points it is worth. So if you can make your route made of loads of big pieces, then you are going to score far more overall than people that are kind of picking up the scraps, which is one of the reasons why I am trying to take that little technique. Now we're going to need lots of little bits for this kind of area around here. So as there's loads of yellows available and it appears that no one else is taking them at the moment, I am going to get grabbing them. And it looks like the AI is doing a similar thing by picking up useful little cards, and this time there's no particularly obvious one that I need, so I'm going to grab a random, as that might give me a locomotive, but it did not, so I shall just be sad. And while we've got the time, I'm just wondering what we've got down here. We've got a choice of routes here. I could go in 2s up here, or I could swing left and get this yellow one here and then across the white, which I think would actually give me slightly more points because we're grabbing that longer route. And if everything goes wrong and I get blocked off, I could also then swing up there if I need to. That wouldn't help me with the longest route quite so much, but it would still give me an alternative. So let's take that green we just got up and just slot it in there, and then next turn we will grab that yellow. That also frees up those blacks as well for me to use at the top. So yellow in there. Now we're going to need some whites if we're going to go to the right, but we can use any colour if we go to the left. Now this, one thing they've actually changed in Ticket to Ride Europe, which is the latest one they've did, is see how this is kind of like whitey grey and this is white, but actually they're pretty similar. In the newer one, Ticket to Ride Europe, they've made the neutral colour ones completely grey, because that you can use any colour you want on those ones. We could use those whites really, or blacks. Let's keep grabbing from here and see what we get. Some orange and some more green. One of the strategic things about this game is that often people are looking for the same card, so as soon as they appear, someone will grab them. Again, nothing particularly. And there's our first locomotive. But of course, because we got it from the random pile, that means we can now pick again. But because we've got that locomotive now, that actually means we could grab that black at the top. And a second locomotive. How lucky. Oh, and even nicer than that, the whites have now appeared on the right-hand side. You see them here? And if we grab those whites, we'll be able to do that alternative route next time. So white and white. And we're back to me. There's nothing I particularly want on the right-hand side, so let's slot those in. And with that, I have now completed my first route with some spectacular trumpeting as well, which was very, very nice indeed. So I've scored 9 points for completing that route, plus everything I got from putting that track down, plus anything I might get from potentially getting the longest route, because it appears that blue and red seem to be helpfully cutting each other off, which is very nice of them. Now, I don't think anyone else is going to be going for that black at the top, but I haven't got another black, and I would like to save my locomotives where I can. So what I'm going to do is start filling in the gaps over here. I'm going to put my oranges in like that. So if I put my black down next turn, then all of my cards that I have picked up are now complete. It will cost me one locomotive to do it. So if I put that over there, you'll see it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the 4. But what you'll see if you watch the animation is that the blacks will fly up, and one locomotive, multicoloured locomotive, will fly up as well. You see that? Which has then filled it off, and it means that I have now got 2 completed routes, which will score me whatever for the track, plus a bonus 8 points. Thank you very much. Now, this is the strategic question, and this is sometimes where some people go wrong, and it is always where the AI goes wrong. And like I was saying earlier, the AI often goes wrong on this, because at this point I could select some more journey cards. If you look in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, I'm not going to click this, but right down here, whoops, if I click right down here, I can't get the mouse right to it, but right down the bottom, I could select some more journeys, which would then of course give me more points if I complete those routes. But if you look right at the top here, you'll see that I've actually only got 16 trains left. He's got 26 trains left, that's in the way. He's got 30 trains left, he's got 20 trains left. Now, when we get down to 0, or technically 2, that closes out the game, that ends the game. So I could grab some more trains, more routes, and build towards them, but I reckon it's actually going to be better for us to try and close out the game as quickly as possible. Because the other thing about selecting routes is it's random. You know, if the only routes that are available to me appear all the way over here, I'm pretty screwed, because any routes we've got left over at the end that we don't fulfill are going to count against us. So what I'm going to try and do is just extend my green line as long as possible in either direction. So we could come up here, we can come over there, we can come out this way. It'll just depend how the cards work. So I'm just, for a few turns, I'm just going to grab random stuff or pairs that come up, and then we're going to try and close out the game as quickly as possible. Now, where the AI often goes wrong, and often will basically lose the game for themselves, is that they will keep picking up cards. And if I was going to do an update to this game, and I don't think they will update this game anymore, because this version I think is a year oldish, or maybe I might be wrong on that one. It might not be quite that old. But the AI will just get almost a bit of a new card fetish, and will just start plucking card after card after card after card. It doesn't always do it. So it must be some sort of kind of AI subroutine that gets itself a little bit confused. But it will just start plucking cards, even though it has no chance of succeeding. In fact, you can see Hunting Bot doing it there. He's added another one to his arsenal. They will never take the longest route category. They will never try and close out the game using other methods. Now, that's not necessarily a problem, because it means if they complete their routes, then they're going to be scoring lots of points, but it doesn't often happen that way for them. The AI is starting to fill up the board though, so if we're going to put things down, we're going to need to start doing it fairly quickly. But I would quite like to get either that black or this longest one here, but I don't actually have any blacks. Let's keep grabbing some stuff and see what we get. And there's another locomotive. I'm also trying to look up here, because I've got 16 left, and I'm currently holding 4, 8, 10, 12, 13 in my hand. So by the time I get, there's no point me going above 16 in my hand, because that's all I've actually got to play anyway. Because you can't go above that limit. So even I've actually been in a situation before where I was trying to pick up a 6, but I only had something like 4 left in my hand, and the game told me I couldn't, and I was very, very, very upset. Right, so that is probably our full set. So with what we've got in our hand now, we can close out the game, but we may not be first to do so actually, but in the time it took us to pick up all that, blue's got 10, and yellow is now on 13 remaining. So let's see what we can do. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to use these to get longest route, so let's just try and get some points before this particular round of Ticket to Ride comes to an end. Now we could try and be very, very, very cheeky and link up with ourselves over here. So if we put 2 there, then we've added it to our longest route here, or we could try and come down here and link it up to our route down there. But I'm just trying to think about where we would, because we can't continue down that way, but we can continue down that way. So although that's going to give us the instant connection, we could take a little risk and pull it down this way. But blue's only got 7 left, which means if he puts down 5 next turn, then the game is going to end, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4 turns to connect that route up. So, despite what I said, I lied, and I'm going to connect myself up there. And then for points, meaning prizes, I've got 4 reds and I've got a locomotive, so I can grab that one as well. And here we come to the end of the game. Vanderbot Jr. has 2 wagons left. This triggered the last turn for everyone. Everybody will play 1 more time, including that player, and then the game will end. So this is our last turn, so we might as well just go for the highest scoring thing we can, which will, if there is one, would be a green 2 or a 3. I can see a 2 there that we could take. I cannot see any 3s. That one's too big for us. There's a 3, so we'll just although we could plonk it there, which would give us more individual points, but if we plonk it there, that will extend our longest route by 1. But I think we've already got longest route. I can't see anyone else that's going to particularly touch us for that, so let's just go for the points. And that will trigger the end of the game with our final player there. Except red has just connected up his longest route, so this is going to be quite a tense one as we add up all the scores. As you'll see, the AI will gain points for every route they have completed, and they will lose points for every route they have not completed. There it goes back down. And the AI in this game will normally have a mix of completed and non-completed routes, but because we didn't take any new cards, we are only in the plus. Oh dear, yellow Vanderbot has not finished very well at all. But blue has done very well, very well. But here's the ones he didn't get. So now it's down to us. We got plus 9. We got plus 8. Now, did we get longest route? Yes, we did, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think we've just been pipped to the post by blue. Oh, no! Disaster! Well, this is clearly how you make a strategic Let's Play. You build it up, you talk through your strategies, you show everyone what you're made of, and then you carefully lose to an AI that you've criticised throughout the entire video. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this little look at Ticket to Ride. I hope you will find some of my strategies useful, but I suggest you don't follow them all. Do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more. And let me know in the comments section if you've got any suggestions as to how perhaps I could have won that game. Take care, hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.